There are only few things that are certain in life. Everyone will eventually die, dino nuggets are better than just common chicken nuggets, and live action adaptation of animes and cartoons always sucks. But today things have changed. Yesterday, June 13th, 2025, a new live action adaptation has came out in the cinemas. I think you all know what I mean. How to Train Your Dragon. Usually I don't like live action, not only adaptations of cartoons and animes, but live action in general. I struggle to enjoy live actors who play a role because it is very difficult for an actor to really deliver a message, to me at least. I always feel like there's something off about acting, at least in nowadays films. But my boy, Dreamworks nailed it. This is my personal review of the live-action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon. I will start with some spoiler-free ideas that came out to my mind, so the first part of the videos you can watch it without worrying about anything. But the second half of the video I will put a warning, a spoiler alert, because I will talk about some precise scene in the film, and so if you haven't watched it yet, it's better if you skip that part. First of all, in the last few years, I would say, the CGI has went to a really good level. You can see Stitch or other films that came out in recent years. The CGI is very good. We have to say the CGI has developed a lot in the last years. And the CGI in How to Train Your Dragon is really good. The dragons are revisited a little bit from the original cartoon, but they are very good, very well made, and I love them. Another really good thing was the soundtrack. They kept the original soundtrack, which was one of the most beautiful parts of the original cartoons, and so it was really good to see the same original soundtrack in the new live-action adaptation. And another thing I was worried about was the actors. I was afraid that the actors wouldn't be capable of creating the same emotions that the original film did, and most of all I was worried about whitewashing. Recent films always choose the cast for the actors in the film based on the inclusivity of the films. So for a film like How to Train Your Dragon, which revolved around Vikings, I was really worried with the choice of the actors, because, come on, the last live action that came out was Snow White, and I mean, even a film in which the main characteristic of the main character is being white, and even there were complaints and was chosen an actress which didn't resemble by any means the original Snow White, and seeing the actress chosen for Astrid really worried me in the first time. But I have to say, I really enjoyed the multi-ethnic cast. And why you say so? For a simple reason. For the first time, the film gives an explanation for the multi-ethnicity of the cast. And it's something really simple, and a single line of dialogue which makes everything right, everything has sense, everything is correct. And I was really surprised by this. There is a scene, I won't spoil anything, where there is this line of dialogue which really struck me, because it is a really good idea. Simply as that. Another thing I really loved is the fact that it is a really good adaptation. It's a remake. They didn't add anything that wasn't in the original source material. They recreated most of the scenes from the original cartoon films, but they added some new information which were in the books, but weren't included in the original cartoons due to lack of time and lack of budget, basically. They included that in the live action, and it gives a lot of more details about the world, about Berk, and I really enjoyed because it expanded the lore of the films, which the original cartoon films didn't do. So another good point, Dreamworks, nice job. And then my favorite part of the film, I think, are the sound effects. Gosh, they're really good! The sound effects of the dragons are awesome. They are really well made and powerful, like a dragon should be. The actors did a really good job. They were, I would say, well picked. And my favorite actor in the film was the one who played Stoic the best. He was really good in giving the impression of Stoic. I was fascinated by his capability of creating such a character. And even the young cast did a really nice job, in my opinion. I'd love to put some images from the film, but considering it came out yesterday, I won't do that due to copyright, but really, go watch it, it's beautiful. These are my general impressions. Now I will dive in some specific content, so spoiler alert, if you still have to watch it, skip this part and go to the next chapter of the video down here. I will give you 3 seconds. Good. There is only one scene, or one lack of a scene, that I didn't like. In the original cartoon there were a scene in which the small dragons fly to Hiccup and Toothless, and in that scene Hiccup discovered 2 different things that to me were important and should have been included in the live action. The first thing, in that scene in the original cartoon, Hiccup understood that every dragon was basically harmless if you didn't threat them. And the second thing that Hiccup understands in that scene is the vulnerability of dragons to fire when it is still inside them, when they produce the gas and lit them, which is the things that ultimately makes him and Toothless win the final fight against the Alpha Dragon. That scene very important, that I would have loved to see that in the live action it missed, and I think that's the only one thing that should have been included to make it really perfect. But another thing they did, which I loved, are a lot of references which point in the direction of the second and third film. For instance, they make a reference to the mother of Hiccup, saying that she was kidnapped, not killed. And Hiccup's scar is far more evident than the original film. Another thing that makes me think they are really considering to adapt the sequel also. As I said, they revisited a little bit the dragons, they made them more captivating, I would say. Also the Alpha. The Alpha has a new design that I love, it's really good. And in general, all dragons have character. There is only one thing, to be honest, that I think the original film did better than this remake, and is the expressions of both the humans and the dragons. Don't get me wrong, even in the live action, the facial expression and the emotions of the dragons and the humans are well depicted, but the cartoon made it better. Seriously, that's the only thing that was better in the original cartoons, in my opinion. Everything else was perfect. I can say without a doubt in my mind that this is the best live-action adaptation of a cartoon opera ever made. I've heard some people saying that also The Beauty and the Beast was a well-made live-action. I haven't seen that one, so I don't know if How to Train Your Dragon is better, but from my point of view, when I came out from the cinema, I had to think if I preferred the original cartoon or the live action. And that alone convinced me that this live action was the best. So, should you go watch How to Train Your Dragon to the cinema? Fucking yeah, what are you waiting for? Book a ticket now. You won't regret it, I assure you. I am Glarion, and if you want to know more, be sure to follow me on all my channels.